Hey, what's up, y'all? And welcome to episode number 5 of Finalize. I'm your host, Darnell Oaks. I got a special guest with me. Coach,
What's happening?
introduce yourself, brother. Introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hey man, I'm Coach Hurd, man. Everybody know me as Coach Scoop. Currently, I'm the assistant varsity coach at Paul High School in DC. I also coach with Coach 16U at Metro Ball, and that's pretty much where I'm in the past. Excuse me, let me turn this damn phone off. In the past, I spent many years coaching with PG Jaguars, Maryland Jaguars, also known as PG Jaguars. I coached with them for about 6 years until my son got to high school, and then we was at National Collegiate for a year, and now I'm over at Paul.
All right. Now, Coach, we got to get into this, man, about the finals, man. We got to get into this because, the Lakers got it done 102-96 in Game 4. Holding Jimmy, man, from a 40-point performance in Game 3 to 22 points. It was so much, man, that transpired in that game because Miami was actually competing. That game was probably the stiffest one from top to bottom, pretty much. What would you say is happening at this point? Is it a wrap? In your opinion, based on where the Lakers took it, because it seemed like they took it to another level in that last game towards the end, separated themselves. What would you say the series is right now?
Well, I mean, I'm a little biased. I am a Lakers fan, and I do expect them to close it out. But in my opinion, I think Miami is a better team than people get them credit for. Anybody that know me know that when the bubble first started and people were choosing who's going to be the teams out the East, all that, I said my dark horse is Miami. Because Jimmy's one of them type players. He gonna hold his players accountable. I think they got great coaching, and of course, Pat Riley speaks for himself. And they just was cruising along throughout the playoffs. Nobody really taking them serious. Everybody was talking Milwaukee, and who I always felt was gonna fizzle. So, in my opinion, Miami's a better team than people give them credit for. And I think they're better when it comes to this series. They're a better team than they gave themselves credit for. I think they came into those first 2 games not really expecting to win those games and allowed LeBron to kind of like bully him a little bit. When, Haslam and Jimmy I think he went back, jumped in their tails, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They came back the next game and they won it without Bam. You know what I mean? And it wasn't close. They won it by what, 12 points, 10, 12 points, something like that. So
yeah,
I do think the Lakers should win. I do believe this Lakers team has deficiencies on it. If you take AD or LeBron off the court for an extended period of time, they're not gonna get it done. You know what I mean? So, but I think they should. I think they got enough cushion. I don't really see them coming back from 3-1. I think they might get this next game, but I do think the Lakers don't eventually pull it out. If they don't pull it out on that Game 5, definitely be Game 6.
All right, Coach. Now, you mentioned Bam. Bam's return, 15 points, 7 rebounds. It didn't seem to move the Lakers too much. What did you feel about Bam's return?
It's wild because the game they won, the game he wasn't there. I think Bam because he's what, 6'8", 6'9", pretty much their biggest player. I think the size and physicality of the Lakers, especially when Howard's on the floor, bothers them. I think the length of Anthony Davis, the length and mobility of Anthony Davis, and then when Dwight's on the floor, just his sheer size and strength and his bruteness, affects Bam's game. Yeah. I don't think he's not, in my opinion, he's not like a true center.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I think, he's more comfortable handling the ball and, stuff he do normally during the regular season. And I think when it boils down to it, I just think them guys too big, too physical and too big.
So coach, matchup wise, right? Would you say Bam is a bad fit, or are the Heat a better matchup for the Lakers without Bam?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think that the Heat has to have Hero and Duncan has to have big games as far as shooting. You know what I mean? To spread that floor out and to give Bam a little bit more space to operate. You know what I mean? If you got Jay Crowder, you got Hero, and you got Duncan spreading the floor like they get in game 3, you know what I mean? Even though Bam wasn't near that game, the way they shot the ball, they spread the floor and, you know, the lanes was open. Yeah. I just think this last game, they didn't have great games. They didn't have those out of the world games, so yeah. That's pretty much it.
And that's a good point too, Coach. Now if Miami, you know, if Miami was to do some magic, man, or, you know, it wouldn't be out of character. You know, it would be shocking, but it wouldn't be out of character for Miami to gut this out and force a game 7. Of course, it would be a long scratching, fighting, bloody for them to get that done.
Right.
How do you view Miami if they're able to pull that off?
I mean, the only way you could view if they pulled it off, if they just made it to game 7, didn't win the championship, just made it 7, you gotta give them their respect. You gotta give them props. And going into next season, you gotta put them as the top team. Unless it's some major, you know, trades and free agency going on, they gotta come in the next season a top team. In my opinion, they one more like star player away from being a serious problem.
And if they were to pull that off, right, where would you rate that as one of the greatest final comebacks?
Right. I mean, it could probably be one of the greatest. I mean, look, you beat LeBron, you beat Lakers. I mean, all the Hollywood stuff. You beat LeBron, you beat the Lakers, you come down 3-1. That's like movie script stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Wasn't expected to be there at all anyway. So
we expecting to be there. You know what I mean? Shoot, that'd be crazy, man. You won't hear from me for the next year, so I'll be under a rock somewhere. But yeah, man, I mean, I respect Miami. I respect Jimmy. I respect their team, man. I respect them.
Yeah, indeed. Me as well. Now, some I seen X's and O's kind of, right, during that game 4. Like the Lakers were backing off of Jimmy. I don't know if you noticed that. They were backing off of him on the 3-point line, daring him to shoot pretty much. So they were living with Jimmy taking that shot. Why? Because he haven't shot the ball terrible during the series. Why do you think the coaches made that shift?
Because Jimmy kills you going to the bucket and in the mid-range area. That's his bread and butter. I mean, I would have done the same thing. I was like, man, if Jimmy gonna beat us from 3, you know what I mean, good for him. But yeah, but where he really hurting the Lakers at is driving to the bucket, getting to the free throw line, and, you know, making those mid-range pull-ups. Agreed.
And I also noticed during that 40-point performance, he caused a lot of foul problems.
Yeah.
You know, so that definitely gave them reason to make some adjustments, I'm sure, after film. Now Anthony Davis, Caldwell, and Danny Green had better games than they did in game 3.
They did.
Much better, actually. Who on the Miami Heat's team do you feel like needs to step up, you know, and have a better game going into game 5 that may have, you know, been kind of, you know, average or so in game 4?
To me, it's Hero and Duncan. If they make those 3 points, if they have big games, then, you know, Miami has a great chance of winning the game. You know what I mean? Those 2 are the X factors. I mean, I think Jimmy gonna always he gonna get his. He gonna do what he do.
Yeah.
But those two dudes are the X factors to me. And then if Jay Crowder start dropping some, knocking down some of those shots also, it changed the whole perspective of the game then. Because now the Lakers got to extend their defense way out, which opens the floor for Jimmy to start getting in the middle and getting people in foul trouble and knocking down those mid ranges. So those 3-point shooters, if they have big games, that's bad for the Lakers.
Makes a lot of sense.
The Lakers have done a good job of running them off the 3-point lines, though. Those closeouts have been good at making them turn them into drivers, which they don't really want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And make them get off the ball altogether. But they run them off the 3-point line.
I'm sorry.
You got to give Coach Vogel his props. Everybody clowned him when he got the job. You know what I mean? But you could tell he goes and does his homework on that defensive end. Because usually when the Lakers lose, they don't lose the same way twice, put it that way.
Yeah, I definitely gained even more respect for Vogel. I think he's definitely doing a great job. I'm gonna tell you something else that hit me during that game. It's just like, man, to me, LeBron just turned it up a whole nother notch.
Oh yeah.
And I'm saying just mentally the way he attacked that game. How did you feel about it? Did you get that feeling as well? Like as the game was going on, like, oh yeah, LeBron feel like his playtime is over. Let me close these boys out.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron does have that ability. He don't do it all the time, but I do think he has the ability to tap into that next level of mentally where he just kind of like zone out and gets extremely serious. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like no more. It's like LeBron. When I watch him play, LeBron seems like he's having fun. He's trying to play the game the right way. He's trying to get his teammates involved. And then sometimes he just goes straight LeBron mode where he's just like, I'm gonna do it myself. You know what I mean? That's what I saw. That's what I saw from him last game. He didn't have no 40-point game, nothing like that. It just his approach was different. He just seemed like he had this laser focus as far as his approach. And when you play with players like that, it galvanizes the rest of your players. They feed off that focus. Like when your best player is serious, like, I'm not about no BS today. You start seeing everybody else. You see Danny Green had a better game. All the people that's been kind of like, Kuzma that's been kind of like slumming it. They all picked it up that game. You know what I mean? And that's on LeBron. I mean, but I don't know if that's his natural personality. I think that's something he gotta talk himself into. You know what I mean? So that's why you don't see it all the time.
Interesting.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's an interesting point there. Now, MVP, right? If the Lakers pull this out, we already know Miami. Miami pull it out. We know who the MVP would be. If the Lakers pull this out, is it AD or LeBron walking away with the MVP trophy?
If it were my vote, I would say LeBron. And that 15-point game the other night with Anthony Davis, unless he does something crazy and drop 50 or something like the next game, I think that was a real lackluster performance the other night. It's like AD is kind of like up and down. It's like he'll give you one of them games, but he got a dud game coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would give it to LeBron. Before that game, I gave AD the nod, just based on the numbers he's putting up, how he was playing. Yeah. But that 15-point game and where he had like 2 rebounds the whole game, he just wasn't there. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be LeBron.
And to take it a little further, we were talking off air, and you made a statement about AD. If you take LeBron off that team, could you share that statement with the viewers?
Well, I mean, as skilled as Anthony Davis is, he's highly skilled.
Right.
Definitely a top 5, top 10 player in the league, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
He has a beta personality to me. And I don't see him as the lead dog. As skilled as he is, I don't see him as the lead dog on a championship team. If you take AD off this Lakers team, they're the Pelicans.
If you take LeBron off.
I mean, if you take LeBron off this team, they're the Pelicans.
Mm.
You know what I mean? They're a team, they might make the playoff. I don't see them coming out the first round.
Wow. Man. Coach,
You know
that's a deep one, man. You might start some trouble with that one, man.
I mean, you know, LeBron has a lot of detractors out there, man. You know, that no matter what the man, and like I tell anybody, I'm a Laker fan first. You know, I didn't root for LeBron when he was in Cleveland or Miami. I didn't like Cleveland or Miami. You know what I mean? I was a Kobe guy, Laker guy.
Yeah.
LeBron came to Lakers, so of course I'm rooting for LeBron. He on my team. You know what I mean? But even though I wasn't rooting for him, I could never discredit his ability, his skill level, his IQ for the game. You know what I mean? I think you got a lot of people that make blasphemous statements when they talk about this guy like he a bum. You know, you don't lead in almost every category in basketball over the course of your career. Still a top 5 player in the league at 35 years old.
Impressive.
Come on, man! You get that man his roses while he here. You could. I mean, I don't even get into that goat stuff because I mean, Michael Jordan versus LeBron, they played 2 separate eras. They never got to play against each other.
Yeah,
it's a pointless statement. I will say this: because Jordan is unbeaten in the final, you can say he's the greatest winner of all time. He's undefeated, regardless of any sport. He's undefeated in championships. Greatest winner of all time. But, you know, when you're just talking basketball, shoot, pass, dribble, I mean, that thing close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And statistics, you want to talk statistically, speak for itself. But, you know, I don't even get into them debates, man. It's pointless. Those are like mindless debates. You know what I mean? It's mindless. A waste of energy, man.
Yeah, I definitely feel like LeBron is in a lane of his own. Michael's in the lane of his own. You know, that's the way I feel about that one, man. Well, Coach, normally I ask guys at this point their prediction. And even though you're a California guy originally, right?
Indeed.
California guy, clearly a Laker guy. So I'm not going to ask you who's going to win. Your prediction on that, I'll ask you, how is it going to end? How many games is the Lakers going to finish them in?
It's tough, man, because I'm really torn between Game 5 and Game 6. I wouldn't be surprised if Miami comes out and win Game 5. You know what I mean? They're a tough team, man. They're a tough team. But yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and say Game 5 is going to be close.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a nip and tuck game the whole game. I think the Lakers will pull it out. The last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, Lakers will pull away. They should pull it out. You know what I mean? But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Miami get that Game 5 and the Lakers got to do it in 6. But I will say this. If the Lakers are wearing the Black Mamba jerseys tomorrow, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They would be, if they lose in them jerseys, they ain't gonna be able to come back to LA, man. They ain't gonna be able to go back to LA, man.
Because they never lost a game at all this year in those jerseys, right?
Nope. And I think those are the ones they wearing too. So it'll be fitting for them to go ahead and win that joint in the Mamba uniforms.
Look, y'all, this is finalized. You heard it here from Coach Scoop. Lakers. You still didn't tell us, Coach. Lakers in 5 or Lakers in 6?
I'm gonna go with 5. Lakers in 5. Close game, but Lakers in 5. Mamba uniform.
Lakers in 5 with the Mamba uniforms. You heard it from Coach Scoop. This is finalized, and once again, I'm your host, Darnell Oaks. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.